We told the WNBA this was coming. Everybody told the WNBA that a hurricane was coming in the name of Caitlin. Hurricane Caitlin. And then Angel Reese was smart enough to latch on to Hurricane Caitlin, and is playing well enough that, you know what? It's just not a latch on. It's an enhancement type of deal. But you know who didn't understand it? You know who wasn't ready for it? And we told you this? The WNBA. Certainly the women of the WNBA weren't ready for it. The players weren't ready for it. Their jealousy, their envy, their ego, their pettiness, Jeep, as Michael Thompson said, shined brightly and obnoxiously and weirdly in the beginning. Odd. Next thing you know, though, as time heals, things moved it along. Caitlin Clark kept playing well. Well, if you go back and you remember, they were really big, not just about one girl, blah, 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 blah. Well, the reason is becoming obvious. The NBA commissioner, or the WNBA commissioner, didn't know. She didn't understand. Is this possible? Like, not only should you have known that Caitlin Clark was going to be a star, you should have prepared for it. You should have said, look, this is what is getting ready to happen. So let's do everything to enhance, meaning let's make sure she's on the Olympic team. Let's make sure that other NBA women are smart enough not to be morons to her. But that didn't happen. And they had to go through all of this garbage. I mean, all of this crap, and Kathy Engelbert didn't understand it. She didn't. How do you possibly not understand what you have coming? Get ready. Somebody, I think it was Danny Z. I think Danny Z wrote on a tweet one time that the WNBA has shown itself not to be ready to be prime time. And we'll get into Coach Prime here in a minute. Well, that's absolutely right. When your commissioner doesn't understand, I guarantee Larry O'Brien or David Stern, whichever one was the commissioner of the NBA, understood what he had when Bird and Magic came in, and that's the comparison that we are all making. He understood it well because he didn't have his head up his ass. He was out there looking, seeing, how can we enhance? See, the WNBA and their group, I was told this, they're not looking to enhance, or they weren't looking to enhance. They were looking to protect. And there's a big difference. Think about it. The WNBA is funded by the NBA. They're insecure about their funding. They're insecure about their money. They're insecure about their game. They're insecure about their TV deals, sponsorships, media rights, suites, selling tickets, everything. Insecure. And insecurity leads to inactivity. You're just holding on. Well, that's dumb. That's really dumb. And this was your one opportunity. And this is what I said before about Caitlin Clark. You had this tornado hit, and you weren't ready. You had this tornado hit, and you didn't enhance. Your insecurity shined brightly. But in spite of all that, in spite of everything, Caitlin Clark and the WNBA, Angel Reese, has grown and grown crazy. Let's hear from this Commish. How did you ignore this? These generational rookies like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, that rivalry coming out of college, okay? So I didn't know it would happen this quickly. See, this is where you're wrong. You should have made sure it happened this quickly. You should have been damn sure. Now, you're pretty smart. I'll give you this. And maybe it was the TV partners, because it seems like this woman, who is very brilliant, didn't understand the game. They did put the Sky against the Fever a couple times early to get this thing going. They did put the Fever against the better, bigger market teams, the New York Liberty, that kind of thing. Los Angeles, to get this thing going. Smart. Wasn't great for Caitlin Clark, wasn't great for the Fever's record, but it was smart for the league. I'll give them credit. But the attendance, the viewership, and everything has been great. Yes, in spite of you. And in spite of your Olympic coach, Cheryl Reeves, being dumb enough to say it's not about one woman. It's not about one girl. That's just so stupid and exhausting and so typical. Media rights for women's sports have been undervalued for way too long. Not really. I mean, it's a good statement, but really, when you've had no million-person viewers for 14 years in your league, I don't know if that's undervalued. So proud of the equality at play on the court, too. It's been great, and it has been. Then these rookies and household names in this media deal is historic for, I think, all of women's sports. Well, there's only one reason, and it's Caitlin Clark. I'm sorry, but it is, and you were too dumb to understand it. Now, you're going to take credit for it. Oh, yeah. And you're going to talk about how everybody's in play here. All these rivals. Household name. Who's a household name in the WNBA? Diana Taurasi? You tell me. All these household names. No. They are just names. They're not household names. You saw them on TV a few times, so you remember a name or two quick. Name me the team Brittany Griner plays on. I mean, she's a household name because she went to jail. And by the way, did you see Brittany Griner? Did you see her getting emotional hand over heart for the national anthem? Uh-huh. Really? Well, sometimes people have to learn lessons the hard way. I think we all need to learn lessons the hard way. And she did. Good for her. All right. I had no idea our women's basketball team was playing this morning. Casey Smith, who is a very good, very popular women's sports analyst. No idea. You know what I would have made an appointment to watch? If Caitlin Clark was playing. A big bag fumble by the Olympic Committee. That's right. I had no idea they were playing. In fact, I played in a golf outing this weekend. I think they played yesterday. I was having breakfast at the golf course, and I looked up, and they were playing, and France was playing the brakes off them. They ended up winning. I didn't know. I would have known if Caitlin Clark was playing. I think we all would have. But having said that, a lot of people are watching. These have been good Olympics. Mike Tirico has been a stud. 19 million watched the men. I don't know what the number is on the women. I haven't seen it yet. But I got to tell you, I think Casey's absolutely right. And again, this is what I said. Timing is everything in life. You know, one guy walks down the street, he gets hit by a car. Another guy walks down the street, same thing, and he gets out of the way. I don't know. I mean, I'm just giving you examples here. But timing is everything, and they blew it. Now, did they really blow it? I don't know. I'll tell you this. Here's the way I look at this, and I keep asking people, including Lynn Dunn, the general manager of the Fever, every week on my Indy show, will this sustain when the NFL kicks off? And the NFL did kick off. Regular season for the Colts kicks off on the 8th. Last game for the Fever, Caitlin Clark's team's like on the 13th. So I don't know. But I do know you missed a hell of an opportunity because Casey Smith is absolutely right. If Caitlin Clark was playing, I'd have set up whatever I had to do yesterday to make sure I was in front of a TV, not just having looked up and go, oh, they're playing. And I think there's millions like me. I do. I'm sorry. I think there is millions and millions that would do exactly what I said. This blew up. Coach Prime. When Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, speaks and gets going, people listen. Coach Prime speaks in fatherly tones. Coach Prime has been under attack, right? A week ago, we had the allegations of fights and guns and bullying and stupidity inside the Colorado program. You know, I have a story. Friend of mine's son committed to Colorado. I thought that's great. Then I started hearing about Colorado, and I'm like, oh, that ain't so great. And lucky for this kid that the coach that recruited him left and went to San Diego State. This kid's now going to San Diego State. Good for him. I don't know the dad and the mom that well, so I didn't really feel comfortable. But we do have a mutual friend that I knew that well, and I said, hey, man, let them know what a bullet they dodged. What a bullet. But anyway, so Coach Prime's mad about that. Coach Prime has been named like the worst coach in the league, but that's not it. That's not it. He refused to take a question from a CBS reporter from Boulder or Denver, one of the two. He went back and forth with a reporter, columnist, who clearly they don't like each other. Let's watch the exchange. I absolutely love this. I think this is great, by the way. Go ahead.
That's the end of that question, I guess. Next guy. Eric Christensen with CBS Sports Colorado.
How you doing? CBS,
Tyler,
I'm not doing nothing with CBS. Next question.
Joe Rigo, Mile High
Ain't got nothing
Sports
to do
Radio.
with you. It's above that. Ain't got nothing to do with you. I got love for you. I appreciate, respect you. Ain't got nothing to do with you. They know what they did.
I'm here in Denver, not national.
You are who you are. CBS is CBS.
All right.
Joe
Ain't got
Rigo, Mile
nothing
High
to do with
Sports.
you. I respect you. That's why I told you that. I'm looking you in the eye as a man. I respect you. I got love for you. But what they did was foul.
Well, what did they do? I don't know. The internet speculates that it was this. The internet speculates that they ranked Deion Sanders as the second worst coach in the Big 12. Now, I got to tell you, if you're going to let some guy named Jeff Hauser's article bother you, you got to be better than that. Now, seriously, you got to be better than that. Now, here's the thing that I like. Two things. We didn't show the one, but Deion Sanders told a columnist, basically, he went back and forth with a columnist. He went back and forth with the columnist in a very, very bad, kind of good way. Not back and forth way, but a good way. The columnist had written some crap about him, and Deion Sanders didn't like it. So Deion Sanders wasn't going to take a question. Guy asked him about chemistry, and he said, yeah, I don't – what's chemistry? He was questioning the guy. People said that was bullying. Well, it wasn't. When somebody writes something about you that everybody can see and you're face-to-face with the guy, why do you, as a coach, not have the right to go back at the guy? Is the media that protected? Now, look, I said in 2020 when Biden won the election, the winner of this election was the media. And you saw what's happening now. Kamala Harris went from unlikable, god-awful to all of a sudden, she's the greatest. That's just a media creation. I said it then and I'll say it now. The media won in 20, and thus the media knows it, and thus the media will go out of their way to do what they need to do. So here's the deal. Deion Sanders got an article written about him in the Denver Post, and he didn't like it. So when the guy is in front of him, Deion confronted him. What's chemistry? You tell me. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Look, every adult male with a great American penis will stand up for themselves. And I like that he did it with the guy in the room. I like that he stood up to the reporter from the Denver Post. I did not like, and I think he's wrong, going at all CBS when CBS, Denver, that guy wasn't the guy. He wasn't the guy that wrote the article. He wasn't the guy. And Deion can put all that, I got love for you, and act like he's above everyone, but that was chicken blank. This guy had nothing to do with that. Now, the columnist from Denver, the Denver Post, he had everything to do with it. He wrote it. Got to act like a big man going at Deion Sanders. And when Deion Sanders came back, guess what all of these folks did? Whined, cried, bitched, and moaned. I mean, they whined and cried. The columnist wrote his little article. The CBS guy got a little angry. They cried like media guys do. One he was wrong on. 1,000% he was wrong, in my opinion, on the local CBS reporter. That guy had nothing to do. CBS, that's just stupid. But the columnist, please. The columnist got exactly what he deserved. If the columnist wants to write crap, particularly if Sanders thinks it is not accurate crap, and believe me when I tell you this, I have been involved in, I don't even know now, used to be like 8, now it's like 20 national stories about me. Not one time, not once, and you can believe me, not believe, blah, 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 blah. Not one time have they been accurate. Ever. Ever. I'm not saying everything was inaccurate. I'm saying it wasn't accurate. They spun how they spun, and that's fine. A couple times it was in a good way for me. I read a couple things good about me. I'm like, yeah, that ain't true, but I like it. So understand this. Coaches, players, media, guy wants to talk junk about you, you got an opportunity to look him in the eye and tell him how you feel or do whatever you want. Great. But the CBS guy didn't do nothing. I wish we'd have had the audio from the exchange with the other guy, the Denver Post writer. And I'd show you the difference, but that's okay. All right. The U.S. women's soccer team. The U.S. women's soccer team won gold first time in 12 years. First time in 12 years they win gold. And guess who wasn't there? Megan Rapinoe. See, Megan Rapinoe did what a lot of us do. And I said us. We believe our own nonsense. We believe our own hype. Remember that song? Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Never believe the hype. Ever. That's not what you should do. Ever. Well, Megan Rapinoe believed it. And then she became the helicopter parent and the bully of the U.S. women's national team. At least this is what I have been told. She became the bully. She became the godmother, the Gazda, the high priestess of that group, stifling everybody else's because she's a bully. Do you remember last game? She walks in with a boombox and shades and all that stuff. Don't believe the hype. That's not how Megan Rapinoe became a great soccer player. She became a great soccer player by being humble, working her ass off, not carrying a boombox, walking in and whatever, acting like a jackass. And then, of course, karma got her. And karma's a mother. But anyway, they won without Megan Rapinoe, without Alex Morgan. Alex became like her little sidekick. Alex became the mouth. Why? She believed the hype. Alex Morgan, the hot chick, bikini, Sports Illustrated, all this stuff. Then she started believing the hype and fell in line with Rapinoe. And it's never good to fall in line with Megan Rapinoe. It's just not. With Rapinoe gone, the star of Saturday's match was Mallory Swanson, Dansby's wife, or actually, who has Dansby as her husband. I forget the right way to say it. Who provided the breakthrough goal in the 57th minute. Swanson collected a pass from Corbin Albert, took the ball all the way towards the goal before sliding, I didn't even know that was a word, sliding in a beautifully weighed shot around the Brazilian keeper into the back right corner of the net. Yeah. 2023, the World Cup was a disaster for the United States women. Lost 5-4 in penalties to Sweden in the round of 16. Rapinoe missed one of the pivotal kicks. Wound up being a difference in the match, and of course she was laughing. Now, with her gone, I'll say two things. With her gone and a much more likable roster, however, it is maybe not as known roster. Megan Rapinoe was really known. Remember, she got some Medal of Honor from Jersey Joe Biden. Anyway, Dennis Rodman's daughter was on the team. Dansby Swanson's wife. It's pretty cool. No, it is really, really cool. But anyway, with a much more likable team, the U.S. women's national team got some measure of redemption Saturday. This is amazing and true. The Olympics don't carry the same clout as the World Cup, even in women's soccer, but it reinforces the notion that the team is once again moving in the right direction under Coach Emma Hayes. Look, one big, ridiculous, asinine personality can stymie a team. You know it. I know it. Many of you out there, and a lot of you guys over at Innsbruck Country Club, who I whipped your ass this weekend for the tune of $20,000. That's right. That's right. My brother and I, at 60-some years old, whooped ass. Came in second. Don't tell me if you ain't first, you're last, because second got us $20K to play golf. Anyway. One personality can stifle a team. My brother and I were enhancers. Our two teammates, we brought them together. We praised them. We encouraged them. We made them think they were something. And they were. Carried my ass. Oh, anyway, with Megan Rapinoe gone, you may not know the team. You may not know the team members. But what you do know is they're better. What you do know is they're more likable. What you do know is they're not insufferable. Now, here is the deal. Don't believe the hype, ladies. Don't do it, ladies. World Cup's coming up, few years. Ladies, don't go all Megan Rapinoe. Don't become unlikable. Get back to the Mina, whatever her name is. I forget her name. She was great out of North Carolina. Why can't I remember her name? She's like the all-time best women's soccer player. Brandy Chastain. Of course, I remember her because she ripped off her shirt after she scored the goal. Oh, man. Anyway, that girl married Garcia Parra, the shortstop for the Red Sox and the Cubs. But anyway, I digress. I digress here. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Just don't. So I hope these women stay. They seem like they're joyful. They seem like they're fun. They seem like they're energetic. Don't become insufferable. We've got people like me that are insufferable. Don't become insufferable. Mina Ham, thank you, Nick. Jeez. I got a headache. All right, remember the Fry Festival? I watched a documentary on it. A bunch of hip young guys and gals wanted to go to the world's biggest outdoor concert, sleep out, whatever. It was called the Fry Fest. And the Fry Fest was one of those deals where everybody paid certain amount of money. You could glamp, meaning glamorous camping. You could sleep outside, whatever. People got airfare. People paid all kind of money. The organizers scammed them all. The Fry Fest was a mess, train wreck, total train wreck. You want to watch an interesting documentary, watch about the Fry Fest. Well, George Mason basketball team was scammed out of their Bahamas trip, and they found out the day it was supposed to start. Here's what happens. People say, Bahamas trip, what are you talking about? We went on one of these in Indiana, and what happens is you get a local organizer, they bring you over, and you go play a bunch of teams. True story. First game we played, the other team didn't have enough guys. Everybody there knew this one guy could really ball. He was smoking a cigarette. He told me on a street corner when a couple of the coaches said, hey, man, we need you to play against Indiana and Eric Gordon. So he put down the cigarette, came in, got a uniform on, and dropped 30 against us. True story. Now, we beat these Bahama teams. The next game, we were supposed to have a game, and the gym was locked. The doors were locked. These Bahama trips in the summer are interesting deals. So George Mason is going on one of these. And apparently, didn't work out so great. It's not uncommon for college basketball teams to take international trips in the summer. No, right. I took my team to Chile. That's right, Chile. Not Chile's, Chile, South America. It's pretty good. According to College Sports Wire, George Mason teamed up with the 7 group, which has organized previous international tours for the likes of Georgia and Tulane to do just that. I think that's the group we used, actually, 15, 16 years ago. Plan was to head down to Bahamas, play some hoop, do some team building. However, according to reports, the team found out on the day that the trip was supposed to get started, nothing had been booked, no flights, no hotels, no games. Now, let me explain this to you. When I left Bowling Green, I went back to Indiana, and I was the head. I was a director of operations. It was the greatest job I ever had other than this. I walked around with a cup of coffee, talked to people, hung out, whatever. But when I got there, they had booked a trip. And Calvin Sampson, who I worked for, said, hey, Dan, I need to make sure this is all in the up and up. I think it was the 7 group. I'd have to go back in my notes and look. But obviously, I made damn sure. I made damn sure that flights were there. I made damn sure that we had things booked. I mean, it's what I did to take my team to Chile. So anyway, I get what happens here. If the director of operations or whoever is in charge, because athletic departments and basketball operations have expanded immensely since 2008, if he didn't check, he got a problem. And apparently he didn't check. According to sources, they found out the day was nothing had been set. With deep regret, the 7 group announces the cancellation of George Mason's men's basketball tour to the Bahamas this summer. We take full accountability for this outcome, understand the impact of all involved. We apologize. A full statement is coming shortly. All right, 7 group, let's hear about it. Here's what George Mason had to say. Scheduled to go to Bahamas. Go to the airport. No flights, no games, no hotel. And donors are already in the Bahamas. I'm not going to lie to you. It's kind of your fault. How do you book a trip? Now, I did this for years. I watched us do it in Indiana. The trainer, Tim Garl, did it. I got to ask you, How do you do this as the team and not have checked? How do you not know what flights you have? How do you not know when, where, and how you're leaving? And how do you not know in connection with one of the representatives of the 7 group? How are y'all not talking? Like, I'm sure there is a good reason, and I always try to find a good reason. But honest to God, if you're booking a trip for a team or you're booking a trip for your friends, your neighbors, don't you check? Don't you make sure we got a confirmation? Maybe they did. But damn, these things don't happen in a vacuum. You don't ask this group to just go out and book you an entire trip for your entire team, and you're over here not communicating with them. I got to tell you, man, I don't know that it'll happen, but somebody going to get fired. In Dan Dakich world, Bob Knight world, Calvin Sampson world, somebody going to get fired. I promise you, that is going to happen or should happen. Or maybe there's a backstory, which there always is. I like this. I like this next story. Look, you bring a bunch of hot, sweaty, young athletes to the Olympics, right? Great shape. Oh, think about this. You worked your whole life. You're in the Olympics. And now your event's over. And you get to hang in the Olympic Village. What a blast you could have, right? And you know what? If you're a dude, maybe you throw it around. If you're a girl, maybe you throw it around. You know what I'm talking about. Sex in the Olympics is legendary. But you got to act in a certain way in this day and age, apparently. Anyway, Manizaha Talish, or B-Girl Talash, was disqualified from the Olympic breakdancing on competition. Did you see the Olympic? Nick, did you see any of the Olympic breakdancing? Did you see highlights or anything about it?
Yeah, it looked like that girl was like on ecstasy or something, and she was clubbing. It was not worth the Olympics.
Oh, my God. How did that get in the Olympics? That was big when I was in college in the 80s. That was big. All right, let's read on. Let's see here. She broke dance. She wore a cape that said "Free Afghan Women" during her pre-qualifier battle, where Talish fled Afghanistan after the Taliban regained control of the country, and she was granted asylum in Spain. I'm here because I want to reach my dream, not because I'm scared. Under Taliban rule, women have been stripped of all human rights, their work, visibility, opportunity for education, voice, healthcare, mobility. Afghan women have been banished from schools and the workforce. They aren't allowed to leave their homes unless accompanied by a close male relative. Women have been brutally beaten, killed for violating Taliban decrees. The focus at the Olympic sports must remain on Olympic performance. All right. Sport and international unity and harmony that the Olympic movement seeks to advance. That's Rule 50 of the Olympic Charter. It also states athletes at the Olympic Games are part of a global community with many different views, lifestyles, and values. Man, I got to tell you, this bottom's pretty good. So the Taliban just has different values than we do? Well, that's one way to put it. That's pretty good right there. Yeah, I got to tell you, the Taliban doing what they're doing doesn't have any values. There's no values, and I applaud Ms. Talish for doing what she did. At some point, standing up for human rights of women seems to be, at least in my little world, more important than rule number 50 of the Olympic Charter. Now, here is what has been. We didn't hear the word Taliban when Trump was in office. We didn't. ISIS somehow, some way went away. We didn't hear any of this. Now at the Olympics, the Taliban in Afghanistan has squashed women's rights. And at the Olympics, a woman is standing up. I applaud her. I applaud her for not just being another person in the Olympic Village doing whatever it is you do. I do. I understand why she would be disqualified, looking at it from the other side. I wouldn't disqualify her personally, but hey, look, these are the rules. I get the rules. I understand the rules. But the truth of the matter is, I like what she did. I do. Hey, the United States didn't play very well. The United States, both men and women, struggled to beat France. And again, this is what I'm saying. The French in basketball. The French. Now, somebody explain this to me, will you please? Somebody explain this to me. So on France, on their basketball team, all right, they didn't have the number 1 and number 2 pick in the NBA draft this year on their basketball team. They did not have. Now, think about that for a second. The number 1 pick in what is supposed to be the best freaking team in the the best league in the world did not have the NBA's number 1 or number 2 pick on it. So that means French basketball is insanely good. No, really. That means it's insanely good. That means French basketball is going nowhere. Now, the United States did not play well. LeBron James did not play well. They bailed each other out, though. And here's the deal. There's so much to this men's basketball dichotomy or whatever you want to call it. Listen to this. The mother, I'm going to say this again. The mother of Jason Tatum is pissed off and demands answers as to why her son didn't get to play. Now, this is the Olympics. This is the United States basketball team in the Olympics. And the mother of one of the players does not wants answers to why her son didn't play. This isn't, ladies and gentlemen, this is not anything other than ridiculous. Someone please let me know, is Jason Tatum injured, hasn't received PT? You'd expect an all-NBA player to get. No, he's not. But if you find out what's going on, please let me know. Unacceptable and makes no sense. Really? I always believe that it is about winning, period. Like, Steve Kerr can catch hell from whoever, mommies and daddies and whatever, all right? He can catch hell for it. But you know what he'd have really caught hell for? You know what would have been on his legacy? I'll tell you what would have been on his legacy. Lost in the Olympics. Lost to France with LeBron James, with Steph Curry. Lost, right? That is unbelievable. You can't do that. So it's a 5th straight Olympic win. LeBron James was Olympic MVP, 14.6 rebounds, 10 assists. The dude has 4 NBA MVPs, 4 Finals MVP, 3 All-Star Games MVP, the only in-season championship in history. I don't know, man. I don't know. Kevin Durant just won his 4th gold medal. And Devin Booker was terrific. Devin Booker was terrific. Plus minus of 76 in the Olympics. How about that? Now, people are going to be mad. People are going to be like, well, wait a second. How can't you play Jason Tatum? You know what's going to happen with that? I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen with that. It'll be forgotten in 10 minutes. Tyrese Halliburton held it up his gold medal and said, it's like getting an A on the group project that you had nothing to do with. That's good stuff. You got to make fun of it. Hey, look, you can only play 5 guys at a time. And the only thing that mattered to Steve Kerr and his coaches was winning the Olympic gold medal. The women, on the other hand, the women basketball, there he is right there. That's right. That's pretty funny. That's really fun. How good is our staff? That's really funny, actually. When you ain't done none on the group project and still get an A. That's right. That's pretty funny. I was a bad group project guy. But anyway, long story short, stop bitching, whining, and moaning about Jason Tatum not playing. You got the gold medal, and Jason Tatum, he'll be all right. He'll be all right. He'll be all right. He will, I swear to God. He'll be all right. I mean, the dude's got $50 million in the bank every time he turns around. Can't swing a dead cat without them giving him another $100 million. He will have to hear it on the road. You're not good enough to play that kind of stuff when he goes on the road. But I do believe he'll survive all that. No, I do. I think he'll survive. Now, the women got her done, eighth straight Olympic gold medal. They really struggled on offense. They scored 67 points against the French. Like, we should be able to score 67 points against the French. But they didn't have Caitlin Clark. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. They didn't have Caitlin Clark. That's it. You know who they did have? You want me to tell you? They did have Diana Taurasi. Diana Taurasi didn't play a lick. Nothing. Not a minute. Zip. Zero. The woman that took over for Caitlin Clark played 13 minutes. Claudia Gray was hurt all year. No points. Nothing. 4 assists. Nothing. That's it. So they end up winning. They shoot 2 for 12 from 3. Doesn't matter. They win. The other team was 7 of 36.